Welcome to another episode of Singapore's Real Estate Explained, brought to you by the JNA Investments team. So, today's topic is something interesting. As we are wrapping up the season of new launches in 2025, I think we want to also, we notice something that is very interesting, right? Which is there are actually some developments that sold out. So now our question that intrigued us to do this topic essentially is to see, does actually development that gets sold out on the first day, did they really perform? Do they perform? Are there any developments out there that actually done better than all these 99% sold out kind?
Yeah, because we're hearing on the market, people saying that, hey, if this development were to sell out 100% on launch, it means it is very high demand, means you get an easy sell next time. But does it really mean that you really make money? So that's something that we are dissecting using many different examples to see what allow a development to make money. Is it linked to its 100% sale or is it something more? So that's what we will dissect later on.
Correct.
So before we start, I think all our clients support us thus far. Our YouTube channel is growing, 17.4k. Okay, still a long way to go to hit 1 million subscribers. But kidding is, we are always very thankful for all who have supported us thus far. And good review, hit 214 5-star reviews. So thank you for those who have always been supporting us till today. And we hope to bring more value with our content.
Yes.
Okay. And also, our number of investment clients served has crossed 800. Okay, so a very great milestone that we have.
Yes.
Okay, and we are getting our 19.56% returns on those who have transacted with us and held for at least 3 years and up. All right.
Okay, so if you are looking for any clarity in your next steps, not too sure what to do with your current property or need a portfolio review, feel free to reach out to us. You can scan the QR code right below and then we will have someone to reach out to you from there.
All right, so with this, let's start today's topic. Does 100% sell out or 90% sell out means you will make money from real estate? Okay, so from this, okay, why we started the topic is because recently, I mean, very hot in the news is Skye, Holland, 99% sold. They say this is wow, amazing. Then some people say, hey, what if those other launches that only make 20% sold at launch, 30% sold at launch day? Does it mean that, I mean, those are not really doing well and they say, wow, this is really the worst project ever? So with this, okay, came this topic. Okay, where Skye Holland, not just 99%, so on check collection day, it was 3.2, 2 times oversubscribed. Means 66 units, maybe close to 2,000 checks collected. Yeah. So does it? How will we perform later on?
Yes. Yeah. All right. So I also something to note, right? I was also quite curious. You know, everybody in the market is saying, "Wow, property prices are so expensive. BTO, HDB is already so expensive. Private, don't even need to say." But the curious thing that we found out is like, hey, actually, why then Skye Holland still is able to manage to have like 3.2 times oversubscribed. It's similar like a BTO in that sense, right?
Yes.
So I think what could possibly have happened here is the way they were able to draw so many people is because of the marketing techniques that they put in. Basically, they posted their indicative prices is always like, 2.6 per square feet, starting from 2.6 per square feet, really is to draw the crowd in because the way they marketed it is like you have a CCR project at the price of RCR or even OCR.
Yes.
So I think a lot of people from in the market, there's also a lot of pent-up demand in Ori, Alta, Parktown. Then when people in the market start to see, there's a cheap price now that I can enter into Holland. So that's where everybody fly into that. Especially comparing to like One Holland Village, you have that kind of pricing. People will be like, okay, it's time to go.
New law selling cheaper than resale prices. Very interesting. And one thing you can see, very interesting, that we mentioned 2,000 checks collected. Only 666 got their units.
Exactly.
So it means there's actually 1,400 buyers still floating in the market looking for something. It also shows a sign of like cash flow liquidity. Like people have cash, have this demand, and they're looking for something in the market right now. It's unlike a HDB where you may or may not get it. You may sell HDB to buy something. Most of these buyers likely have very offload their property or looking for something that's in the market. So it really shows that our cash in the market is actually pretty high right now.
That's right.
Okay. And one thing to take note is, even with break-even price, okay, back then, 2,203 per square feet break-even. Okay, it was actually one of the cheapest land bid that was bidded within that period of time in the core central region. At 20% profit margin was 2,829 per square feet, which for our size is okay on a slight threshold value of acceptable value. Okay, but in fact, you look at the average price of Skye Holland transacted. Okay, it's 2,009 to 3,000 per square feet for the bigger bedroom size. So it shows that the launch price is not exactly, I would say, cheap, like close to break even, but people are still going to take it because as compared to the other core central region, Skye, Holland, at 2,953 per square feet on average, is actually considered as, I would say, lower.
Yeah.
So low as compared to River Green, Upper House, and Robertson Opus.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct. So with that, I think now is the time where we start to review. So that's the research that we have done to review all the past developments that has sold really like 90%, more than 90%, more than 80% on launch day. How did they actually perform? I think this will give us a better overview of whether is it worth it to chase a hype, or like when everybody is like marketing so much, is it wise to follow follow the crowd in that sense lah.
Yes. Okay.
So with that, the first one that we want to look at, it will be J Gateway. So I think J Gateway is something interesting. At the launch day itself, 99.9% sold. Something similar to the Skye, right?
So 73 units, 737 units. So it's a big development. 11,000 square meter of land. Quite good location next to Jurong MRT. Okay, very popular location, high in demand, and on launch day almost fully sold out.
Yes,
okay,
correct.
so let's see how we actually perform later on. Okay,
So with that, I think the reason why J Gateway again, right? Everybody, the market is hyping J Gateway. Back then, because I think back then there were a lot of people who live in the Jurong East neighborhood, so they were really drawn to J Gateway because, like, again, integrated project. Jurong East MRT, bus interchange, still got shopping mall, like all your major Jurong shopping malls are there.
Yes.
I think that's where also a lot of people is like, oh wait, I think it's a good place to be. So everybody flooded there, including the International Business Park nearby. I think most of the investors saw the rental potential. So again, the market was like, okay, J Gateway is the way to go. So everybody went. So now let's see how they actually perform.
Yeah, and add on to that, one of the things they did was drone transformation story. It was always in the news, along with the high-speed rail terminal in Malaysia. It was always, it's really the next, they call it the new CBD, second CBD in Singapore. So if you look at how it actually performed, honestly, surprisingly, it did perform well.
Yeah.
Okay, people bought it 2013, exit 2015 or 2017. For a two-bedder, they barely make 45k for some, or hundreds plus k if they exited earlier. Okay, then for a 3-bedder and up, less than 40k, or rather 3-bedder and up, you can see later on it's only 120k, which you see in today's market actually on the lower side.
Yes.
So you can see, doesn't mean buying into a hype means that you will make a lot of money. Okay, doesn't mean that fully swap means you will definitely be able to exit. Okay, the key thing over here is always what price you enter. So you look at all the prices on average. Okay, after 4 years of holding, upon TOP, selling at TOP, right, they make about 6% to 9%. So honestly, not great. One of the not so good performing projects that happened in this area as compared to others you will see in a while.
Correct. So basically with this kind of growth, if you net out all the costs, you might break even will be a good case, but most of the time it could be
a slight loss.
A slight loss.
Yes.
Okay, so looking at the the PSF difference also, not too much of an increment. Same thing, roughly about 3 to 10% as well. Okay.
So the question is, why did this happen? Okay, why did JGO not make money? Okay, there are a lot of reasons, but two main ones. One is actually linked to the hype. Okay, that the drone transformation story. So for us, we are a team who are not so into transformation. Okay, rationale is everywhere in Singapore is transforming. We say
everywhere
is transforming. The URI master plan is coming out, and sometimes this kind of plan can be a 20 or 30-year plan.
Yes.
The case in point, for example, Jurong area. Do you know the drone transformation story only start happening in 2035 onwards?
Yes.
Things start to move out and things start to build, and maybe 2040, 2041, then that is where the transformation happened. But they started talking about this since 2013. So some of them, they really pull everything forward. Okay, and one more thing, if you take note about this data set over here, back then because of this hype at 2013, they launched it at about 1,005 per square feet. When the new launch, okay, average for outskirt, something similar like Jurong area, is only going at 1,000 per square feet. So it was really 40% way above market value. So when you see this kind of thing happening, it just means that when you enter, it could be on a high. They will exit, there could be a problem exiting because of that.
Yes. All right. Okay. Yeah. So with that, we have another example. Optima at Tanah Merah, same thing. 99.9% sold, only that one unit that wasn't sold. So looking at it, basically this one, again on the day itself, it was fully taken up. So let's take a look at the returns.
So on returns wise, you can see they make pretty decent return. On a contrast, you see 840 square feet, 2-bedder make about 200, 300k upon TOP, the 3-bedder make close to 5 to 600k. It's really crazy returns, and this is something that is ideal. So what was the difference between Optima as compared to that of your J Gateway? Okay, you see in a while, the price they make not just like in like like tens or 20%, 40% as a new launch. This is really one of the top performer. So you can see two contrasts. One bought 99% sold. Okay, but one actually make more than the other. When you buy a 1-bedder at 500k, you sold at 728k. You buy a 2-bedder 800 plus k, you sold at 1.15. 3-bedder 1 plus million, you sold at close to 1.56 million. The 4-bedder makes close to 600 plus k. So these are pretty decent returns that I would say is quite remarkable. And the rationale is once again very simple: entry price. Because unlike J Gateway, when 1,000, 4,005 is coming at market is $1,000 per square feet, which there's overpaying. Okay, you're actually getting very close to the market prices. Along the fact that, of course, there's also slight market bull run between the 2009 and 2012 period before the cool measure came in. So potentially, what happened is that there was a double boost in terms of the prices. Okay, one is getting close to market value, the other you're catching on a uptrend. Along with, if you know Tanah Merah side, there are upcoming land bids around the area that actually push our price again and again within Tanah Merah that allow you to set the benchmark. So that's why it's very important, not just to buy into hype, but understand what is your exit strategy.
Correct, you're right. Okay, so next one we'll talk about Hillford. This is something very interesting, right? Because I think back then when it was launched, it was kind of launched in the idea of like retirement home kind of thing. So nobody thought it would be sold out, but 100% sold out on the same day itself, which is very interesting.
So I still remember I read this in the news. They were saying that it's cheaper than HDB. It was like it's same price as HDB. Private or like very close to HDB price. And the only thing to take note, the tenure is 60 years from 2013. So it launched 2013, but this is the first project they beta tested. 60-year lease project. Never happened before. It's the only one and only I've seen in the entire career that this is the only project in Singapore. 60-year lease. Okay, and they launched. And what happened is that it was 100% sold out on launch day. So let's see how it performed.
Okay, so with that, we have definitely there are some profitable transactions. But if you take a look at the profit, it's really all within the 5 digits range lah. Only one that we see is about 100 over K. So I will say as compared to the good performance that we are hoping for or we are looking at in the market right now, I would say same thing. If you net out all the costs, break even would be a great thing. If not, most of it will be slightly at a loss as well.
Yes, correct. Because at the end of the day, you also have seen those people who bought even later, in the later stage of the launch, 2014, when they bought at a slightly higher price, some even lost money. So it's always about entering the right price, which you share how you get that later. But I can see Hillford, 1-bedder make 9%, but a 2-bedder, some that even lost 1.6%. And this project is very interesting. They have no 3-bedder, no 4-bedder, only 1 and 2.
Retirement
home. And they say it's Upper Bukit Timah, it's a decent location, they will buy in, but at the end of the day, it did not make as much as what people think will be. You buy something at 400 plus K, back then you will make about 40K, which now all the agent fee, all the sale fee, all the interest, or even the buy stamp duty, honestly,
nothing else left.
So it's not always buying, they say it's cheap. Where I say it's cheapest in the market, people who can't afford a condo can find it, buy a condo. But sometimes there is a value trap. Okay, so right now we are looking at quantum, but you look at PSF difference, honestly, not much gains. 5% to 9% depending on the 1 or 2-bedder. So returns are really not so great. And if you continue holding from 2018 all the way to 2020, 2021, actually there was a slight dip. So sometimes buying cheap doesn't mean it's always good. It's always understand what's the value. So you look back at the value, right? One thing to take note is this is what I would say one of the project that's very low in, I would say, exit demand. Okay, unless you're buying for high rental yield, retirement cash flow, and don't plan to sell anymore and just milk the rental all the way until this property go to zero. But in short, if you want to exit, right, this is a 59-year leasehold property. Everything is brand new, but on a lease term, actually is actually lower in lease. Okay, the last time I saw very close to this is actually Coco Pumps, where they actually launched it like at a 80-something year leasehold rather than a 99-year full leasehold. But one thing to take note, once you have this kind of leasehold property, right, people will say, hey, look at the PSF in RCR. RCR back then was going at maybe 1,005, but again, 1,001, so it's cheap. But take note, this RCR new launch are all 99 year.
Yes.
So technically, they prorate the PSF. A very simple, we use the Bala's curve, but to make it even more simple, I'll take 59, they are at 99, multiply by the average PSF of the new launches back then. Technically, you should be buying this project at 900 per square
902.
feet, but you're launching at 1,001. So when you buy this kind of prices, naturally, you'll be overpaying because the intrinsic value is 900, but you're paying at 1,001 per square feet. So there are some ways that if you buy into this kind of property, although it's fully sold on launch day, it doesn't mean that you can actually make money.
Yes.
So it's always back to the entry price.
That's correct. Okay, so next we'll take a look at another example. This one not 99%, not 100%, so about 80+%, but I would say for a launch on a launch day, 80% is not too bad of a result already. So 82% was taken on the day itself. Let's take a look at the transactions, how profitable they are. So same pattern that we see, most of it are in the ranges. Okay, this one has more 6 digit, but the 6 digit is like starting with 1.
Even the 3-bedder 1,259 square feet also make about 100K, which is honestly not great.
Correct.
Yeah.
So again, going back to the minusing all the costs, right? I think that is because ultimately when we talk about gains and profits, it's after minusing everything, what is the net profits? So we would need to have a bigger buffer in terms of the profits so that we can actually take out some cash proceeds or for the next place and all, right? So so looking at this, I don't think likely their profits, net profit will be roughly also in the mid 50K, 60K range kind of thing.
Yes, which is not great. And if you look back, even some of the people who bought later, I mean, even hold to today, they were still on negative loss. 2011, hold 2022, likely still making a loss because they bought it at a higher price as compared to those who actually bought at the right pricing. Okay? So you look at the chart to see how much they make, right? If you talk about the 1-bedder, they bought at 800K, they exited at 914K, okay, 100+K on average exit. You buy a 2-bedder, barely make about less than 10K. 3-bedder, also about 100K. Okay, 4-bedder is the only exception.
Slightly.
They actually make about decent, about 22%, but I would say it's one of the one-off scenario.
Correct.
Yeah, because of lack of supply in that area. So you look at this kind of cases, even for PSF wise, honestly, similarly, barely a single digit growth in terms of the PSF gain. So the question is why? Why is so high in demand? Integrated next to Bedok MRT, really like a nice place, good location, hot in demand. Why they make as much? Although sold 82% on launch day.
Right.
Once again, the price. So back then, if you look at 2011, which is where the boomer market was going upwards, 1,003 per square feet for integrated, as compared to the new launch outskirt. Okay, new sale average is 949 per square feet. You're paying almost close to 400 per square feet above, and that is when you're overpaying for the whole market value, and you're buying at a hype. So these are things that when you look at all the project, and this is also one reason why, if you notice, that's how integrated development for a few already. I am not a huge fan of integrated. Okay, that's why we actually technically boycott the whole Parc Town launch. The whole team was like, nope, we're not going for Parc Town. We were so firm because there was really nothing you can really find. Okay, there is maybe the first few units, 3 out of the maybe 1,000 units, but we are not a fan because we know for integrated, there's always a premium. People buy into hype, and you can see J Gateway was integrated. Good popular location, high demand, the price will be wrong. Because it's driven not by intrinsic value, it's driven by hype and the demand of the place. So when you see that happen, rather than rushing in to buy because everyone's buying, you need to be more prudent to do your homework and make a proper decision.
And that is why for our team, when we are doing the planning for the clients, right, we will make sure every time we go into any developments, there will definitely be a walk away price. So for any units, so that we know that we try to take the emotions out of this, looking at an investment point of view, really the numbers need to make sense. And it's not like, oh, just because I missed out on the previous 2 launches, now I finally have a chance to buy, it doesn't matter my budget, I will just go for it. That's not what we want to do. So that's how we want to help our clients to be more objective in terms of their investment. So last example, we have Duo Residences.
Also integrated.
Integrated. Again, if you notice, the patterns has always been like that. Integrated. So 91% sold for somewhere in Bugis area. This is, I would say,
very popular.
Very popular.
Location.
91%. 600 out of 660 units sold.
Yeah.
So with that, we then, same thing, want to take a look at the transactions. Here, profitable transactions. Not too bad. There are some that hits about 300K, 200K, but they are like maybe 1 or 2 out of the entire ones. But what is interesting, is the next slide. The unprofitable transactions.
Yes, so unprofitable, you can see there's some that bought in the later stage of the launch, 2013, 2014. They heard to today, they actually been losing money. And this is something that is very real because people like buying integrated, like buying near MRT. You see, we've done, the case study before, near MRT. Actually, a lot of those, fun fact, those who bought near MRT actually earn less than those who bought far from MRT.
Yes.
And it's something that we noticed. But people just want to buy something that
Good location.
good location. And this is actually the biggest trap. We always tell clients, this is the biggest trap, value trap that people fall into. And from there, if you want to lose $1 million, I'm so sad for this guy. But in short, I feel that end of the day, it's really because the value is bought wrongly. Okay.
Yes.
And rationale, why did Bedok Resi not make so much? Later we'll cover. But before that, you see the quantum. You bought a 1 beta, you make about 8%. The only one they make is 1 beta. You buy a 2 beta, that's 1%. Okay. 3 beta also lost money. 4 beta also lose money. And you can see obviously over here, right, is that two main reasons why it didn't make as much. Quantum. So the 1 beta quantum for this area is actually pretty high at 1.2 to 1.4 million. Okay, as compared to the market back then when there are 1 beta in other areas, there's about 1 million. And you can even buy a 3 beta elsewhere, outskirt area, the same quantum. And then the 2 beta quantum is really, yes, PSS seems cheap. You see in a while, PSS compared to market average seems cheap. But the quantum of the 2 beta, okay, are actually on the higher side. When you get 2 beta, may elsewhere a cost central to 1.3, 1.4 million, the kind of range, but you are buying way higher, although the PSS is cheap. So Bedok Resi, along with other examples we've seen in the past, it all falls under this category where a 2 beta instead of 700 square feet is 1,000 plus square feet. Okay, and the layout is actually not exactly very efficient. And then if you look at the 3 to 4 beta, then things get worse. You can see you want to buy a 3 beta, 4 beta in core central region because there's no school in the area, no clear exit strategy. You don't get that kind of demand. And that actually does affect the exit price and not having enough buyers to buy a unit. Okay. And PSI wise, you can see on average, you can see based on graph, it's almost flat. And people will say, hey, back then, right, the PSF for Bedok Resi, as I mentioned just now,
Similar.
1989, it's same as CCR, Core Central Region. Okay, 1979. So why did they make money? So as mentioned just now, it's always linked to not just PSF, but also the quantum of the unit types. And to make things worse is, unfortunately, when they bought in 2010, okay, and then exit 2015, 2016, when upon TOP, it's actually on all-time market low. So it does affect the prices. It's only in 2015 to up 2021, 2023, see, the price start to climb. So there's sometimes on market timing, along with the fact that CCR property is not, I would say, high in demand for 3 to 4 betas, along with the quantum problem, it does affect exit price. So PSF is not everything, okay, but it's important to still look at it to have an assessment.
Yep. Okay. So next we have another example. You'll notice it's only 54% sold. So why we're actually putting it in, there's actually a reason also. So we just want to take a look at Gem Residences very quickly, right? They have about 578 units. So in a very good location, Toa Payoh area, demand is high in a sense. So we also then in the end want to take a look at the performance of Gem Residences as well. Okay, so 54% sold.
Actually, in fact, this is one of the highest percentage sold during the 2016-2015 period, which is really the lowest market
Quietest
market time. So during this time, there are other units that made 20% sold, 30%, but this is 54%. Okay, but we look at the profit that I look at it. Honestly, not great. 100 plus K. Okay, for the 2 beta. Even the 3 beta also made 186K, 200 plus K as a highest bound. But to make this, usually how we look at it is 1 beta, okay, nowadays not really make a lot, but we ignore 1 beta. 2 beta, we need to hit at least about 250 to 300 to say good. 3 beta, about 4 to 500 to say decent. Anything that's below 250, I would say is below average. Yeah. So next, let's take a look at the quantum, how much they perform. Okay, 1 beta made about close to 170K, actually quite decent for 1 beta, 20%. Okay, 2 beta, 100K. 3 beta also about close to 250K, quite okay. Then followed by that, 4 beta, 1.7, so at 1.8. Okay, but honestly, can't really compare apple to apple because most of the 4 beta are actually bought in 2018 period. So you need 2018 to 2022. But in short, you can see not very spectacular returns except for the 3 beta, given that people really have demand. There's lack of supply for 3 beta there.
Yes.
But when you look at the PSF gain on average, except for the 3 beta and the 1 beta, okay, most of them, same thing, it's only 8 to 12%.
Yep.
Okay, so why did this happen? It's very interesting because back in Gem Residence was going at 1,427 per square feet. Meanwhile, the average for RCR new launch is going 1,005. They said, hey, it's cheaper.
Can
Then-
buy.
It can buy. Then why did it not make as much as what we have shown like in previous case?
Yeah.
Okay, so there are actually two local factors you have to take note about this particular development. Okay, one is actually next to a Columbium. Okay, in other words, a temple that the ashes, someone passed away, they burn the ashes there, and they will burn a lot of incense. So this actually, people in the market do actually take note of this. Okay, and that will sometimes factor in about 10 to even 15%. Okay, down the prices.
Yep.
And some people, even if the price is cheap, they may not want to stay. Yeah, so there's something you have to factor all these things into in the account. If just a small temple, nothing much, alright. But it's really like a huge temple with all this burning incense, then you must take note. Okay, and it's really exactly just side by side
Next to it. Yeah.
next to it. And the second thing, okay, you must take note is linked to layout. So for Gem, right, you must understand for Toa Payoh people, they are buying $1 million HDB. They're used to the big space. So living room size is a very important thing.
Yes.
Okay, for this Toa Payoh area. But you can see over here, this living room is pretty small. Even a 3-bedder, once you fit, you barely can fit a 4-seater table and barely a 3-seater sofa. Landscape balcony is excessively same size as your living. Okay, same thing for even 3-bedroom premier with just additional more utility and an extra walkway space. We wasted some space. Okay, the living room is very, very small. So regardless what kind of layout over here, it actually sort of like curb a certain group of people because we have broad buyers over there. The first thing comment is, wow, living room so small. But sometimes they say, okay, I like a location. I barely can accept.
Okay.
But then you can see how we see this difference is Trevista, which is right beside Gem. Okay, with big living area, landscape, decent size kind of living area. They actually end up selling higher price than Gem. Which is very interesting.
Yep.
And that's why you must understand layout is also a very important thing to factor in. And not just that, living room is one thing, bedrooms can barely fit a queen size and you can't even walk. It's like class 7.5 square meter. So it's very, very tight. So a lot of people do comment about this and that actually did factor into your exit prices. So it's not always just about PSF.
Yeah.
PSF is always one side. You must always look at a holistic approach and assessing whether a development can buy or cannot buy. Okay, there are some of my broker friends who have conversation. They say even if it's cheap, I won't buy here. So it's even until the extent. So there's something you must really factor that into this PSM, not just about buying because it's cheap.
Yeah.
Right. And makes things worse. Okay, 4-bedder is also very small. Okay, barely fit a 6-seater dining and you have barely some walkway space. Balcony extremely small. And living room is just not really acceptable. The only saving grace is bedrooms are bigger. And the 4-bedder, in fact, that's why the exit price didn't get as much value as what they have thought.
Yep.
Okay. Last one is 5-bedder. 2 of the 5-bedroom can barely fit a single size, cannot fit a queen size. So literally, it's just a 3-bedder plus 2 study. Yeah. So this is the part that dining, living okay, but still pretty small. And this is something that for 5-bedder to spend this amount of money into this area, you can see it could be less, even 600-700K cheaper than the 4-bedder nearby. Which is just because of the fact that the bedroom size is not functional enough for people to accept this kind of pricing.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So now that we have seen all the top 90%, 80% sold, and we have seen their performance, the flip side is true also. We also want to take a look at that. Whereby, are there any developments that at the start nobody wants to buy, nobody even bats an eye on it, but in the end they perform well? So we have actually found some of them, so we are here to share with you all as well. So the first example that we have is Tampines area. We have all heard of this. I don't know. We have all heard about this development, Treasure at Tampines itself, right?
Yes.
So total for this area itself, for Tampines area, they actually within these 3 years, they had a total supply of about 3,690 units.
Yeah, so that's very interesting because back in Treasure Tampines, some people say, oh, make money, right? But do you know back then for Treasure, that's still in Treasure itself, they said 2,200 units. Who will buy here?
Cannot buy.
Supply, oversupply. They say in the end, launch day, right, the scariest thing is only 13% sold.
Yeah.
Then people say, why they make so much money now?
Exactly.
So it's very interesting. So the market is always saying, wow, Treasure, wow, you make money. It's always very retrospective. But
Yeah,
back
hindsight.
Then, hindsight bias. But when you look back then, only 30% sold. People say, shouldn't buy it's based on what people are saying
Won't
today,
perform well
Won't perform
this one.
Okay, in contrast, right, to show the comparison, during the same time, TP3 sold 64% of the 861 unit. CDL, very nicely designed. Okay, but if you take a look at the returns, Treasure, even though on launch day, only 13% sold. Okay, they make 400K for the 3-beta. Okay, versus TP3 also make about 400K to 300K, slightly lower to 500K, but you can see TP3 hold for 6 to 7 years. Treasure, it look back, only hold for about 4 to 5 years. Yeah, so they make more, and more of them make more as compared to TP3. Yeah. And meanwhile, for 4-beta, for Treasure, multiple transactions make about 5 to 600K just within 4 years, as compared to TP3, make 600 plus K, only 7 years in 2 transactions. Not many people want to sell. So the question is, why did Treasure make so much? Although 13% sold. So, and we found out one thing is that it's not linked to the demand on launch day. It's very independent. You can see demand high, entry price wrong, you don't make as much. Okay, in this case, the demand low on launch day, but entry price is right. You're able to get something that can make a high margin. Because back then, Treasure was indeed the cheapest new launch in the entire outskirt area.
Okay, so that's number one. So second one, we also want to look at another one. Also Florence Residence. If you notice, location-wise, it's really not near any MRTs or anything. Take-up rate when they first launched, worst 6% sold. 6%. Only 6% sold. But with that said, we also then want to take a look at some of the profits that they have made. So look at the 4-beta profits. So these are what we call like better performing. We are looking at about 500, 600. There's one about 300K, but it's a wider range. We have more than 500,000 kind of profits that we see in terms of the profits for Florence Residence. So I think the same thing for Florence Residence as well, why they could make so much money despite the location in that sense, is again, they actually entered at a good pricing, a right price. So when they exited, they could actually exit at a higher profit as well.
And one reason why they make so much, once again, same thing as Treasure. But then they were also one of the second cheapest, in fact, in the entire market for new launch. So in short, as long as you buy at the right entry price, below the market price, as compared to going to overhyped project where people are all rushing in to buy, sometimes you can get a better value deal.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Next up, we have Parc Clematis. Very interesting case study. Okay, at the big development by Skye, 1,400 units. Okay, and back then they were saying that in this whole entire area, we got 3,344 units. Okay, literally come in the market, and they said oversupply. We should not consider. And Parc Clematis, okay, on launch day, only 22% sold. Okay, rationale being is indeed when launched on launch day, it was actually on the higher side. Okay, people found 1,005, 1,004 plus is actually on the high, 1,005 plus on the higher side. When market was going at 1,002, 1,003. So that's why the market didn't pick up. Okay, but you can see today the 4-beta, okay, Parc Clematis make about 700K, 800K today. Even though they purchased at 1,006 per square feet, 1,005. So it's very interesting. We say, why Parc Clematis on that 1,005 per square feet and market 1,000 to 1,003 for outskirt average? And yet at the same time, okay, they didn't perform well on launch day. They make so much profit. Okay, rationale is because if you look at all this period, on launch day it was 2019, 2018, 2019 period. Most of these are bought at 2020, 2021 as post-launch. So those that bought at post-launch, right, by then we hit 2020, 2021. Most of this 4-beta, for example, at 1,004, 1,005, we have new launches coming to the market potentially 1 to 2 years later at 1,000 and 2,000 per square feet. So when it's always relative to the market, and something needs future proof. You see 1 year ahead, 2 years ahead. And we had a crystal ball to see what are the upcoming launches or upcoming prices. You're able to hedge the price against that. And notice that in this area, there is another new launch called Alta. That was sold later on, but at a much higher entry price for land bid, and that's why it launched in 2005. For that, it helps to pull up the entire prices within the area. So it's very, very dependent on the surrounding land bids, whether there's a land bid that can pull up the price rather than just saying it's expensive as compared to the whole market. So every single area, you need to really assess it according to that, rather than there's just a like one size fit all kind of method to assess whether property can buy or cannot buy.
Yeah, correct. And from this, right, what I noted is also, if you notice what Chris mentioned, he said for Parc Clematis is people who made the most money was those that bought post-launch.
Yes.
So again, it doesn't mean that right at the start when enter, like just now we talked about like, for example, Skye and the 99% one, Most of them, I would say, maybe not all will make money, but maybe the first few that enter would likely make money, right? So what I'm noticing here is essentially saying that doesn't mean new launch when the pricing is out, when I am the first few to book, right, means I will make money. Ultimately, it still comes down to the entry price. Because for them, they entered later than those that entered earlier. In the end, they were ones that made more.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Okay. So last example, we have Key Residences. So Key Residences, this is also something very unique. It is right next to Maju Camp. For all the NS guys, we all know where Maju Camp is. Usually, we don't usually go there. So again, everybody say this location bad, cannot buy one.
Yeah, in fact, the nearest bus stop, you walk 19 minutes to go to the nearest bus stop. It's very out of the way.
Exactly.
Yes.
But so that's it. On the launch day itself, they had about 26% sold only. Okay. Surprisingly, because if you compare the Tampines and Florence, it's like still higher, right? There are still people who are buying. But then that's it. If we look into the profits itself, we are actually looking at profits about more than 300, 400, even 500K.
For 3 beta, which
For
is
3
very, very well done for
Yes.
this kind of project for Korean market. And the restaurant, once again, why? Because this is 99 years. Okay, because the RCR outskirt area, not near MRT, yes, but it's the cheapest city fringe property you can ever find. That is not even 99 years, but it's almost close to
9
freehold,
years.
9 years.
Yeah.
So this is something that, I mean, we have done a case study about this, we've done a research about it, but that will be a separate topic of the day. But what we have to do is not just to buy into hype and buying projects that, wow, sold 99% on launch day, it's good. In fact, later we'll assess, okay, in a while. And when you look at the 4 beta, you can see the returns they're getting is also about 430K to 600 plus K, which is quite okay, quite decent. Okay, definitely better than that of like J Gateway or like Dual Resi, the kind of returns.
Yes.
So why did Key Resi make so much? Okay, it's because back then in the city fringe area, this is the cheapest city fringe new launch project you can buy in the entire market. It's not that it's 99 years. Okay, the only downside is not good location, not the MRT. That's why people say don't buy. It will lose money, but it didn't. It actually make. So it's something that we noticed in the market again and again. It's always not boils down back to location.
Yep.
It's not about how high demand is on launch day. It all boils down to the intrinsic value of property, whether it's worth buying.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
And
Okay, so apart from all these examples that we have given, we have also run through, we have also found out a few more. We won't go into too much details, but essentially, for example, we have examples like Daintree Residences, Upper Bukit Timah area, 14% on the first day, but the average 3 beta returns are about 400K, which is something that we see is healthy. Average 4 beta, 760K. View at Kismis, same thing, Upper Bukit Timah, 21% on the first year of launch. Average 3 beta, 350K. And then average 4 beta about 530. And last but not least, Normanton Park, also another mega development, 32% on the first year of launch. Average 3 beta is about 370K. And then average 4 beta is also about 450K.
yes. So you can see it's really not about launch day price, the demand.
Yeah.
The rate can be low, but if you buy the right entry price, you know what is the market, and buy below the market, you can easily exit at a handsome profit.
Correct. So this is exactly what our team does to really help you to be a bit to be clearer in terms of your next move. Really don't follow the hype as much as there's all these marketing materials going around. How do we actually objectively look at your next development as your next property as an investment objectively? So that is where our team comes in to help. So if you have any questions, if you're still unclear, please feel free to scan the QR code at the bottom, and then we'll have someone to reach out to you as well.
Yes, and final question answer. Okay, after so long, is Skye Holland a good buy? 99% sold. Okay, so the final answer is it depends what price you bought at. Likely could if you thought 25-30%, but you bought at a good price, but actually anything after that, after walkway price we set for this development, you honestly could be buying overvalued. And that is the sad truth, where in the development, when people FOMO and buy, the chances of getting a wrong unit type, or rather wrong PSF, is actually very, very high. So you never do homework and go and rush and just buy like what people do in the market today. There is a very high chance you make a wrong choice. And we hope that only through numbers and data and understanding what you're getting into and doing a proper research on what is the best in the market, then you are able to find something that is worth the value. Alright, so with this, we come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoy our entire analysis. Okay, my name is Christian.
My name is Zach.
Okay, see you next time.
Bye.